Hey, good morning, folks, from Circuit World here in Blue Ridge. I'm your host, BKP. Friday morning, December. They have gifts. Now, wait a minute. They have stacked this up to remind me there's a Nintendo, a Microsoft Surface to Go, or whatever it is, PS4 gaming system, gaming laptops, you name it, they got it here at Circuit World ready for you and Christmas. And next week will be time for Christmas sweaters. I didn't want to do it today because I didn't want to leave the panel out. So officially, the panel will get the word next week will be Christmas sweater week. But hey, we're in Blue Ridge, Georgia. Great weekend to come up. And I tell you what, I did a little segment this week on the show talking about Christmas spirit, getting in the holiday traditions, feeling it. And I will say, a good trip to New York City at Christmas time, I think if you get a chance to do that, it's awesome. But in my entire life, nowhere like North Georgia. It doesn't matter where you go, Dahlonega, Blue Ridge, Hiawassee, Blairsville, Ellijay. I don't want to leave anybody out. But come up to North Georgia and enjoy it. There's horse and buggy rides, the Christmas trees, the small shops. And this is what I said the other day on the show. In North Georgia is where you find the unique gift. You know, I understand you got all the stores around Atlanta and the big city, and you can go and do all this shopping, and it's pushing and shoving. But if you want to find that one gift, you walk in these small shops in these small towns, you say, wow, there's something you don't see anywhere else. This is the place to find all those unique gifts for your loved one during Christmas time. Anyhow, I just can't encourage you enough to come up to North Georgia and join us, especially during this holiday season. Now, that being said, how's that for a segue of you're a damn liar? You better get your words straight, Jack. Did you see Joe Biden yesterday in a confrontation with an 83? Now, I understand Joe's 78. It's more his league, maybe, if he wants to go out boxing. You know, Joe Biden's a former Golden Glove. He wanted to take Donald Trump out back and, box him up real good. Joe Biden is on his No Malarkey tour. Seriously? No Malarkey? Now, there's a tour you have to go check out. You want the T-shirt? I went to the No Malarkey tour. Wow. So yesterday, a guy stands up in the room, and he says to Joe Biden, hey, your son got a job with a gas company in Ukraine, so the Ukrainian company could get leverage with the president of the United States. You know, that's what they're claiming Donald Trump did. Didn't you do the same thing? And Joe turned around and he looked at this 83-year-old guy. One, he called him fat, challenged him to push-ups, and he looked at this angry, turned around angry. Democrats, why the hate? Because we strike a nerve with the truth? But he looks at this 83-year-old man that asked the question in Iowa and said, you're a damn liar. Then he said, get your words straight, Jack, like he's a tough guy. All right? Anyhow, then you flip over to Nancy Pelosi. Everything was going well in the press conference when Nancy Pelosi was saying, hey, we're going to push through, we're going to power through, we're ready to start writing the articles of impeachment for this president of the United States. And then James Rosen, of all people, right? Remember when they hacked James Rosen? Was it James Rosen? Remember Cheryl Atkinson? And now NSA and Adam Schiff, AT&T, have turned over emails from, is it Jay Solomon, a reporter? These are some scary things that are happening with these people. But don't you love the Catholicism that takes place just under the word hate? Now, Nancy, I'm going to have to agree with you. Slow down. I got to agree a little bit with Nancy because when I was growing up, and even now, my mother did not allow us to say hate. We were never allowed to say we hate anybody. If we did, we got in trouble. We were able to say we dislike their ways. My mom would say, you don't hate anybody, you dislike their ways. So, okay, Nancy, when James Rosen said, hey, Doug Collins, Congressman Collins says you're doing this just because you don't like the president, and you said, Do you hate the president? That's all he says. A question. Do you hate the president? She freaked out. She said, in my Catholic house, where I grew up, as a Catholic, hate. We did not hate anybody. We love everybody. So let me ask you the question, Nancy. Why can you invoke your Catholic beliefs, your religion, when a man just asks you if you hate somebody? God forbid you invoke your Catholic beliefs when you talk about abortion. God forbid you talk about your Catholic beliefs with the heroin addicts, the drug addicts, and the homeless in your district. You remember Jesus' love? You remember that whole love? Well, has anybody forgotten that Nancy Pelosi, if my memory's right, is actually the representative, not just Speaker of the House, of the San Francisco area where the homeless, they're defecating in the streets, needles. So why don't you, Nancy, extend your Catholicism and your Catholic beliefs from hate to abortion to loving your neighbor like your district and get something done then instead of a sham impeachment? We watch these political scholars. Oh, they were political scholars, right? I better slow down and save some of this for the all-star political panel because I can get wound up. I wonder if they have anything to talk about today. I always say that. We're going to take a break. After this break, it's time for Dr. Whaley. Ask the Doc with William Whaley, so we're going to do that right after this break. We're at Circuit World in Blue Ridge. Merry Christmas, by the way. Take us a break.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Better days ahead.
Days Chevy in Jasper makes the holidays bright, and during the 2019 model year-end clearance sale, the savings are huge, like over $11,000 off 2019 Silverado crew cabs, or more than $6,500 off 2019 Chevy Colorados. 'Tis the season of giving, and we're giving you thousands off every Chevy during the 2019 model year-end clearance at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevys always cost less.
Better days ahead. Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Do you feel like healthcare has become too impersonal?
8 times an hour, I'll get you in, I'll get you out.
At Lifetime Medical Center, you're more than a number. We get to know you, not just your medical issues. Dr. Alana Kent is board certified in family practice and offers same-day appointments. She and her staff treat conditions from minor to chronic issues. Lifetime Medical Center, convenient to Jasper and Blue Ridge.
This may sting a little,
morning from Circuit World. Oh, BKP's over here on his cell phone. This is Ask the Doc portion of our program this morning. And BKP, how you doing this morning?
Well, I know, Dr. Willie, you have run those marathons, and boy, do you know when the gun goes off how to jump out first.
Yeah, just trying to help you, you know.
That is great.
What's this for? What's my tie? Hey, what's my tie for, Lonnie?
International NATO meeting?
Yes, okay, let's get on it.
All
NATO.
Right,
all right, my man went over there and he stood up for America, and he didn't pay a bit of attention to naysayers. And that press conference he had with Mrs. Merkel, I mean, she said 7 words, I think, during the whole thing. Anyway, so enough of that. We'll leave that to the expert panel. But I'm wearing this for you, Mr. Trump. You're still standing up there and doing my job.
My president does an outstanding job when he's abroad representing the American people, not Washington, D.C. Okay, moving right along, because you know I'll get stuck.
I got another one. Jeremy.
Yes, sir.
All right. There's an 80-inch television right there. 82, it's whatever, it's huge, it's so big, it should be on the wall of a bar, but it says Black Friday only, and that was Friday. Is that price still good this week?
Sure.
Sure.
Put me on the spot.
Put him right on the spot. Jeremy says sure.
Well, but look at the thing. I mean, it's past Black Friday.
No, I try not to look at it.
I mean, folks, if you want a big television set, Jeremy's got one over here, and he'll give it to you for last Friday's price. If
That's
you get
as big as the movie screen.
It's as big as a movie screen. As big as the movie screens were when we were kids.
Exactly.
And you can have that price for till tomorrow night, close of business Saturday. All right, let's go to work.
Dr. Whaley making deals. I
used to work.
You got anything else?
No, but you remember I went to work when I was 8.5 years old.
I mean, he's opening the segment. He's selling over here.
All right,
but we are going to get to questions. It's time for Ask the Doc with Dr. William Whaley. And we want to thank North Georgia Cancer Research Center, affiliated with Northside Hospital. We thank you so much for this segment. Dr. Whaley, we're going to jump right into the first question. I have 6 brothers and sisters between 57 and 40 years old, and none of them will get immunizations. Go to the doctor for a checkup or test. Non-smoker. What are the chances that any of them could get cancer, and what do you recommend? I say to them, my primary care doctor does mammograms, and I had a colonoscopy when I turned 50, but they laugh at me. They all have businesses and jobs and insurance, so that is not a reason. So I guess we have a question here from a sibling that says, I'm trying to help my family members, 6 brothers and sisters, take their health more serious as they age, and they just laugh at me. And I will say that I want to add this little thing on here. The other day I saw something on the internet that said when you turn 50, your check engine light comes on.
Yeah.
So that I just saw
that's a real good segue into what we really have here. Well, I think we're going to have to say this is a female.
Okay.
Because she said my primary care doctor does mammograms. I think that means she had one, and that she had a colonoscopy when she turned 50. So she's doing her job.
All right.
Now, she's got these siblings that are not unlike some of the people on your expert panel who don't get immunizations, and we're not doing immunizations today, and so we won't bring that up. But not taking a flu shot because you don't believe in it is a lot different than not doing a mammogram or a colonoscopy or whatever. So, interestingly enough, the age range, let me put that first thing up there that's that graph. I shouldn't be in a graph that sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about. Take a quick look at this. You need your glasses here at BKP. This is the incidence. Watch this, everybody. You see how this thing rises like a rocket? What's this age right here where this thing starts to going up?
40 to 44, 45 to 49, and it really takes off north, like I said, from 50 to 54.
Yeah, that's right. The check engine light went on.
Yeah.
All right. So the age range she's talking about here is that age range of the rapid increase in cancer. So now they may have had their head in the sand down here, below the age of 40, let's say. We'll leave it at 40. and they didn't go get their regular eye care because they haven't reached the point where they weren't able to read the, you can pull that down, Lonnie. They didn't get to the point, you know, at about age 40 or 41 or 42, you start doing this, right? So you know, wait a minute, something's going on. I need to go get some cheaters at Walmart or whatever. So below the age of 40, you can understand why people maybe may not have done some tests. We'll come back to that again in a minute. But once you hit 40, or as you say, 50, your check engine light comes on, and there, you'll see there's a question in here about whether the 40 is 40 or 50 about the check engine light. All right, well, let's go to that next one, Lonnie. So cancer, you know, you got everything from your hairline to your toes, and there's all kinds of different cancers. So what kind of cancers? You got males and females in this group right here.
Right.
Now, get your glasses back on. But if you'll notice, the top cancers, and it's just from here up, these are obviously the top cancers. That's top cancer deaths. That's new cases. The cure rate's such that the incidence of new cancer cases per year now, that's breast, prostate, lung, colon, well, that's all of them, and they're males and females. The death rates are a little bit different. You'll know the lung cancer death rate's at the top, whereas it's the third in incidence, just because lung cancer is a little harder to treat. But that four, colon, rectum, lung and bronchus, prostate and breast, that's the sort of thing that people generally get screened for in the recommended screening programs that a family practitioner, if a woman goes to a gynecologist or whatever, would be screened for. Lonnie, put that next one up there.
Those are the top 4 new cases.
Correct.
Yearly. And those are the 4 that you should screen for.
That there are very strong recommendations about how you screen for.
Right, okay.
All right, show this next one. You didn't think this was the flu one that I had up here a week or two ago. Remember that at the flu?
And let me ask you a question. Yeah. I don't want to say simple. I don't want to ever use the word simple here, but the screening for those 4, it's not real hard when you go to a doctor to have those areas checked and that screening done, is
No,
it?
The colonoscopy is a little bit of a thing, but that's also every 10 years, so it's not a big deal. Well, here's this. We always have a map of incidents, right? We had the flu map up here a week or two ago, and this dark color right there is the highest incidences of cancer in the country by state. If you look at it, interesting, you got Louisiana down there where there's all those oil refineries. Then you got the Rust Belt states where there's all that industry. But you would think that in the South, where there's not much industry, it might not be too big, but Georgia's cancer incidence is the second highest rate that there is in terms of color. So we're talking about Georgia. All right, pull that off, Ron. So in a geographical thing, I don't know whether this question was written in China or written in Massachusetts, but if it came from Georgia or one of those big old Rust Belt states where everybody lives, it's a little more important there than it might be if you lived in Hawaii, where your cancer incidences from things that go on around you is not quite as high. All right, so this next one, you got the cancer checklist up there. The one about the aortic aneurysm and all that sort of stuff. All right, so wait a minute. We got to go back here for another. Hold on here, BKP. I'm going to do one of your things here. All right. Now, I said we would get into other things, like you get the glasses and everything. So this is a Ray Tidman type group here that's about everything that somebody really ought to be getting screened for. And I was talking about age. When we get to the news of the week, it's going to talk about cholesterol in young people, like in the 20s. But I'm going to make the assumption that you got to 40 years old and you haven't done anything. So prostate cancer screening, colorectal cancer screening, breast cancer screening, all of those things begin with different recommendations at about the age of 40. I'll throw this in for Ray Tidman, and that is that if you're going to your family practitioner for the first time at age 40, he's going to do an A1C test or some sort of a diabetic test. He's certainly going to take your blood pressure, and he's certainly going to take your cholesterol level, right? Okay, so pull that one down, and we'll go to that next one that's kind of complicated. Well, I'm having a hard time here with this technology myself. Come on. Now, you got this big fancy woman in here. This tells you that there are different people recommending things. So let's go to mammography, and that's the simplest one, and we'll use it for a guide. It says here that the American Cancer Society recommends starting at age 40 with a mammogram. The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force recommends 50. Then one of them says do it every year. One of them says do it every 2 years. We're not here to argue the frequency at which these tests ought to be done. We'll let the insurance companies say I won't pay for it except at this interval or whatever. But clearly, a female at some point needs a family history taken. If there is breast cancer or ovary cancer in the family, then you would go to that early screening, get that mammogram at age 40. Now, we're men here, so prostate cancer screening with the PSA and the digital rectal is recommended to begin at age 50. But if you're an African American, if your dad or your brother had prostate cancer, you got to start that 10 years early. Colon cancer is pretty clear. Everybody recommends it at age 50, unless you're in a family like your expert panel member who's got 11 people at our mother's generation and 5 have had colon cancer. They had to do that first one probably at age 40. And when you and I had your colonoscopy, right? And if it was normal, what'd they tell you? Come back in 10 years, right?
Yes.
10 years, right? That's what they told you when you had your colonoscopy. All right. So basically, what do I recommend that you tell them? 1, do they wear their seat belt and their shoulder harness? Why do I ask that?
Because if you wear that, you're concerned about your safety. You're concerned about the possibility of having an accident.
But you don't plan to have one today, do you?
Right. Exactly. You wear it not intending to have an accident, not thinking you would have it. You wear it for a precaution.
That's right. But you know that the statistical chances that you will have a better outcome or if you wear the belt.
Absolutely. Your chance of survival is better if you wear the belt.
Lonnie, there are 3 men sitting in this little circle here. Statistically, what is the chance that an American will get cancer? What proportion of the... One of 3, correct. 1 of 3. Now, what's the chances that we are going to have a near-fatal automobile accident? 2. No. In our lifetime, the chances that we will have a near-fatal automobile accident are 2%. We're wearing a seatbelt.
To prevent a 2% chance, but we're not going and getting checked out
for
in a 33
and a third percent chance.
Anyways.
So that's
you know, I have to tell you, I know you always answer the questions. You do very thoroughly, and I was waiting to see how you brought that around to her talking to the family, and I love that. No,
well, that's
because that's what she really wants to know.
What do you want to know?
Right.
So good. So here's what you tell them. We're wearing our seatbelt. We're driving safely. We're not speeding. But our chances of being in a near-fatal accident are less than 2%. Now, we're going to have fender benders and stuff, but I mean a really big-time car wreck. But the chances that are there 6 of them here?
6, yes.
2 of them are going to have cancer. Which 2? I saw a patient this week.
And if one of the 2 is the sister that wrote the question that is doing all the screening, she will stand a better chance of surviving out of the 2.
Correct, absolutely.
Because right?
That's right.
Okay.
I saw a patient yesterday who was 62 years old, in great health, was an exerciser, ate all natural organic foods, has never had a drop of alcohol, never had a cigarette, is not in a family where people smoke around them, who went to the emergency room on Thanksgiving Day with a bellyache 2 hours after the Thanksgiving meal, thinking they were having gallbladder issues from a great big meal. Did an ultrasound, had a malignancy in the liver, chest x-ray, had a malignancy in the lung, and has colon cancer that would have been detected in a curable stage if they had done a colonoscopy at age 50. This patient's decade beyond that would have cured them. And that's a sad situation when somebody says, well, I just didn't do it. They were insured. Wasn't it they had to go out and pay for it? Wasn't. So that's the family she's got. They're insured, they've got jobs, they may be busy, they may, I don't know what they are, but sit down with them at Christmas and talk to them. Good enough?
Very. I mean, that was a good answer. Like I said, I was listening to everything, and I was wondering, because a lot of times it's very hard, regardless of subject, to talk to your family about things.
Yeah.
And you brought that around. That was a
Right,
very good answer on
I'm
how
gonna, I'm going to make a real quick suggestion. One, the females in that family, at least when they're in this age group, need to go have a pelvic exam by a gynecologist or a family practitioner to check them for cervix cancer, even though that's not on that big list, all right? And then that other stuff, oh, I'll hit on one more. PSAs, colonoscopies, and mammograms. Now, the other one up there was lung cancer. There is an inexpensive test that Medicare and all insurance is obligated to pay for, called a low-dose spiral CT scan of the chest. So if any of that these people don't smoke, but if any of the rest of the audience have people in their family that have smoked as many as 30 pack years, that means a half a pack a day for for 60 years, or 2 packs a day for 15, and are over the age of 50, their chances of lung cancer are very high. And you saw that the death rate with lung cancer was here and the incidence rate was there. So if you get lung cancer, we don't do as good a job about curing it as we do with others. So you want to diagnose it early, and that's the only way to diagnose it early.
Folks, don't forget, you can ask Dr. Whaley a question by sending it to info@fetchyournews.com. Put it in the subject line, Ask the Doc. Also, follow our social media page, Instagram also, and Twitter, Fetch Your News. And that's where we always are blasting out throughout the week segments about Ask the Doc. And you can put your question there. But again, the more detail, the better the answer. Pretty simple. I like you.
Yeah, well, I tell you, I think that
age,
the first one was really well written.
Yes, it was. Okay, let's get to the second one. This involves a husband.
No, this is a follow-up question from 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, if you'll remember.
My husband has multiple myeloma.
That's it, yeah.
And has gone into remission with chemotherapy, and now they are talking about a stem cell transplant. Is this wise?
That's a big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
You remember the discussion we had here a couple of weeks ago? It was about monoclonal gammopathy of uncertain significance, and that's present in 5% of the normal population. And if you'll remember, we said then only a small percentage, 1 or 1.5% of those people will progress into multiple myeloma over the rest of their life. So don't panic if you have monoclonal gammopathy. And then I said at that time, there are good treatments for myeloma. And somebody picked up on that and asked this question. The idea of a stem cell transplant, I want to stick a minute to that. If you turn on the television today, cable programs, and watch the ads, there are all of these ads in there for stem cell clinics. And for back, you know, I had chronic back pain, and they told me I'd have to have an operation, and I was going to be in a wheelchair within a year. But I went to Joe McGillicuddy's stem cell clinic, and I had a stem cell transplant, and now I'm playing golf again. You hear those? Or I had stem cell transplant in my knee, and they were going to give me a knee replacement. Now I'm getting ready to run a marathon. Well, that's all baloney. You don't believe me, do you?
No, I'm listening.
Okay, all right, but we talked about it before. Everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon of stem cells. That's not what stem cell transplant is. There is no statistical information to say that stem cells used in that fashion are of any benefit at all. And lastly, insurance companies wouldn't come close to paying for it. So that pretty much tells you it doesn't work. And insurance companies 100% pay for stem cell transplantation in multiple myeloma patients at an appropriate point in time. So the question that she asks is this wise? That really is this wise at this time in my brother? Because stem cell transplant is an integral part of the curative intent treatment for multiple myeloma. Put up that first slide there. So this just gets you freshed up. We're talking about stem cells. We're talking about multiple myeloma, and the fact that the patient got into a remission and they're talking about stem cell transplant is all good. That means they're going farther along trying to cure the patient. You'll remember we've had discussion about lymphoma, and
right.
If a PET scan shows that it's gone after 3 or 4 cycles, you give more in an effort to cure.
Prevent it from returning.
Yes, okay,
right.
That's it.
Prevent it from coming back. There's part 1 to get rid of it, and part 2, I'm calling it, to prevent it.
That's right. Pull that off the screen a minute. See,
right.
Now, he didn't look at all these things and do his homework, but he just got that one right.
Yeah.
So this goes...
You don't have to tell everybody I didn't do my... Teachers for years said I didn't do my homework.
Right.
I don't need you to tell.
All right. So basically, you just got it, though.
Right. I'm listening.
To prevent
Right.
it from recurring. All right. Show that next one.
Because I'm reading this, and I'm reading it in a timeline. They went through chemotherapy. It was diagnosed. The diagnosis, they said, okay, we're going to start with chemotherapy. It's gone into remission. So I'm reading it because of a current situation. I'm hearing, although it's not the same, the timeline that they're at.
Correct.
Am I right?
That would be like in lymphoma, the PET
Right.
scan being normal after a certain amount of treatment. Or in colon cancer treatment, where you have done the chemotherapy and then the hole in the liver has gone away, you don't stop. You go in there then and operate and take out that place. All right, so this graph right here shows the survival after transplantation. It's a decade ago,
Right.
but you'll notice there's a bunch of different types of transplantation here. So, Lonnie, that just shows people that there's different lines there, right? Everybody's used to the line, well, the top line's the one you want to be in, right? The one with the longest survival. So we'll just go back. We're going to do a quick update of what we did 3 weeks ago. Put up that bone. You got the bone up there? All right. I showed a bunch of bones with holes in it when we were here a couple of weeks ago. So what this means is this patient's gone into a remission, and all of these cells are gone when they do a bone marrow, and all of these proteins in the blood are gone. All right. Now, it's not hard when you think about, just imagine a big soup bone cut in half. All that red and yellow marrow in there, it's kind of stuck to the walls, isn't it?
Right.
I use this, pull that one down, Lonnie. I use this analogy a lot. If you have a freestone peach and you break it open, there's still a little tiny bit of peach in that seed, right? I mean, even though it's a clean pull away. So that's what they're trying to do, is get to that little bit of seed that's left on that breakstone peach. All right, show that one with that guy lying down there. Now, there's nothing to be afraid about with stem cell transplant. This will tell you, there's a bunch of different things here. One, the old style bone marrow transplant, and still used in leukemics, is where you've got to have a brother or a sister or some random person that you find off of the international registry that is a match. That's a tiny slice of stem cell transplants today. most of what the stem cell transplant today is your own stem cell. So what they do here, we know that this guy, myeloma guy, so here's our myeloma man sitting over here. We know that he doesn't have any significant detectable tumor in his blood or in his bone marrow. That doesn't mean there's not a few cells hiding somewhere. So what they do is they give him those drugs to raise his blood count really high. Those are stem cells. They take them out, they put them in a freezer, and then they give him a lot of chemotherapy, enough to kill everything in the bone marrow. That's a slice of a few days. And then once his bone marrow is totally dead, they go to the freezer and give him the stuff back, and it generally takes less than 7 to 14 days for that stuff to start growing. So pull that one down there, Lonnie. So the last one, put the last one up. It's titled Timing of Stem Cell Transplant. And the only place that there is any debate in whether or not a stem cell transplant is indicated is whether it is done right now when that patient was diagnosed and put into a remission for the first time, or whether he begins some maintenance program and then relapses a year, 2 or 3 years later and then is transplanted. Well, at Northside Cancer Center, our bone marrow transplant program has the highest survival rates in the world. And they are very big in myeloma stem cell transplant. And they did tons of research along with other transplant centers all over the world. And what they did was they transplanted some people after relapse. They transplanted some people and they went into the first remission. You can pull that down, Lonnie. And basically the program today, if you're good health like you and me, or this guy seems to be, in his first remission, stem cell transplantation is the place to do it. So I'm going to say, assuming that he is in a high-quality university program, and there's dozens of them across the United States, those people are specialists in myeloma, and if they're talking stem cell transplant now, it is a good sign. It means they're trying to cure him. It means that he's strong enough to go through it, and I would therefore say, yes, it is wise.
Well, being in the room and my family being in the room with a cancer patient and hearing a doctor, these are my words, say, an oncologist say, this is where we're at, this is what we need to do now. I actually understood that question in a different way this morning, and I see what you're saying, and I can actually hear this is where we're at, now this is what we got to do. Because sometimes we get, it depends on what kind of cancer you have. Sometimes,
correct. Oh, yeah.
Sometimes if you have, what's the other cancer I'm looking for?
Melanoma.
Yeah, or what's the other one I'm looking for? Anyhow, huh? Yeah. Anyhow, like you get to a point and you're in remission. Now they might want to start radiation on the area where the tumor was. Right.
That's correct. Absolutely.
So when I see this kind of cancer, the doctor's saying this is where we're at now, yeah. And I'm not trying to associate the two, but
no,
you
exactly
understand
right.
what I'm saying.
It's exactly the same concept. You have reached a place where you have control, and what you're trying to do next, the radiation where it was, not where it was at,
right?
But where it was, is to prevent it from recurring.
Right, exactly.
Period. So the next step is always a good step because it says we've gotten to a point we want to be in. And if we do this, it improves your chances of long-term survival.
Folks, great questions this morning. Really enjoy them. And I'll tell you how you get a question to Dr. Whaley. info@fetchernews.com or on our social media page, Fetcher News, Facebook, and Instagram, Twitter. But you could send Ask the Doc, put in the subject line there, info@fetchernews.com. Great questions. Today's news in the medical world.
Well, I know that I can hear the expert panel over there chirping, so we're not going to spend a lot of time at this, but you heard it here first. Distracted by their smartphones, pedestrians are landing in the ER. 76,000 people. How many of those died? We're not going to go into that. Vaping illnesses are now seen to be the same as what was present in metal workers. We're not going into vaping either, but you heard it here first. You know, first of all, they didn't know what the lung disease was. Now, under the microscope, it's the same thing as people who used to have cobalt lung working in mineral mines.
And they're doing that research because we just had a lung transplant not long ago.
Oh, yeah, there have been more than one now.
Due to vaping.
Okay, right.
Okay.
But we're going to get down to this one because everybody keeps talking about this low-dose aspirin thing. You remember a month or two ago, this thing came out and said low-dose aspirin for people who do not have specific high risk, smoking, high cholesterol, whatever, has not been proven to diminish the chances of heart attack. And when I think it was Rick Gluckert that brought that up to me, what do you have to say about that? I said, well, it hasn't been proven to diminish it, but it hasn't been shown that it harms you at all. But there's other things that aspirin can do for you. So this particular article came out yesterday, and the title says,
Low-dose aspirin might cut cancer risk.
All right. Now, you saw how high the incidence rate was for colon cancer in that thing. It was number 2. Low-dose aspirin can drop the colon cancer rate by 34%. That's a huge number. If 1 out of every 10 of us are supposed to get colon cancer, you drop a third, that's huge. Now, you got all the discussion about pancreatic cancer with all GI cancers, so that's esophagus, stomach, pancreas, are dropped by 28%. That's not even colon. So that baby aspirin may not prevent the person that doesn't have major cardiac issues from having a heart attack, but that's other stuff that it does. Now, interestingly, it works better to prevent cancer in people who are overweight. Now, I haven't the foggiest idea why that is, and they didn't either, but they get an extra 19% kick compared, if you just get all cancers and you got people that are at ideal body weight versus those that are moderately obese or higher, the benefit was a little bit higher in that group than it was in the other group for reasons that are not clear to me. So there's the news.
Well, I take my daily low-dose aspirin. I take my daily allergy pill.
And you take your protein drink.
I do.
And you've never had a drop of alcohol. And your colonoscopy was normal.
4 out of 5 ain't bad. Well, not that it wasn't normal, but we'll touch on that later. Look, we want to thank Dr. William Whaley every Friday morning for this segment. And if these questions, the answers apply to you or a friend or someone in your family you want to share them with, you could always go to our YouTube channel, FYN TV, Fetch Your News YouTube channel. Subscribe, and every time we put up something new or we're live there, you will get a notification. Look for the playlist. Just click on playlist, click on Ask the Doc, and all of these videos are there stacked together, and you could share these with family and friends because it's great information. I want to thank you for your questions, as always. And don't forget, you can ask Dr. William Whaley a question on social media, fetchyournews.com. Facebook page, Instagram, and Twitter, and also send it to us at info@fetchyournews.com. Put in the subject line, Ask the Doc. We want to thank North Georgia Cancer Specialist, Research Specialist, affiliated with Northside Hospital. So we thank Northside Hospital so much for this segment. And you have a nice day with your international tie. And
thank you, Mr. President.
And go do what you can to heal people. We appreciate you very much. Next up, the all-star political panel. I know you want me to come up with something new, but I always say, I wonder if they have anything to talk about. They're here, they're ready, and we got a lot going on the other side of this break. Thank you, sir. Have a nice day. Take us a break.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Circuit World has complete queen bedroom packages at amazing prices. Get this queen bed, dresser and mirror, 1 nightstand, bedding set, and free 32-inch TV, all for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this complete queen bedroom set and sleep in style, also for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. What an incredible deal! Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
Hey folks, we're back and we're at Circuit World here in Blue Ridge, and it's time for the All-Star Political Panel. A couple things before we get started. You know Bruce, you know Rick, you know Jane. Okay, everybody, this is your official notice. Next Friday is Christmas Sweater Friday. I didn't want to do mine because I thought, well, I didn't send out the memo. So everybody got that? Next Friday, Christmas sweater. Now, second, you got breaking news. Go ahead.
266,000 on the job report.
Hell, you
predicted 180.
180.
180.
Hell, you know what Joe Biden would say? You're a damn liar.
Get your facts straight,
push-up match. I can do more push-ups than you can.
What a
Get your fat
if you are 83.
Get your facts straight, Jack.
What a putz.
What a tough guy. I think he was going to take him out back like he wanted to do.
Oh, my goodness.
So
it was
go with the jobs
embarrassing.
report a little bit, because go with that. How many jobs?
266.
And what was the expected?
180.
But
wait a minute. I gotta compute that. because you're not going to hear that well, you will hear it in some places. And also the jobless claims were down. They expected way up. It was down 10,000 than expected. The jobless claims, meaning less people went and signed up, more jobs created.
But there's an asterisk by the number.
Wait a minute, go ahead.
There's an asterisk by the number because they predicted with all the GM strikers going back to work that it would be pumped up.
Oh, okay.
So.
But doesn't that go against...
Yeah, but with the GM strikers on strike, the number was still up that month.
Yeah.
Go figure that, right?
Were we not supposed to be done and finished over the trade wars and all this stuff?
Oh, there's a recession coming.
Oh, it is?
Oh, yeah.
Well on its way.
Yeah.
And a total crash of the bank.
There always is. We just don't know when.
Yeah. Wow. That's news, and we wanted to bring that to you. And thanks a lot, Rick, for looking that up because actually.
Hey, thanks for doing your homework, Rick.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, it came to his phone.
Everybody's a comedian. Everybody, let's move on. All right. But actually, one Friday every month on this show, we get to actually announce that because it comes out at the time we're on here, and. Let's go with last night. I want to start with Nancy Pelosi. All right? Yesterday she comes out and she says, well, we must move forward to save the democracy and all the stuff they say. And Trump just can't use the office for personal gain and on and on and on of why it's time to write the articles of impeachment and judiciary. And then James Rosen, of all people, remember
Yeah.
what happened to James
Fox's
Rosen?
own.
Right?
Jimmy Rosen got into a little tiff with maybe some indecent emails, some pictures.
So James Rosen, of all people, says, do you hate the president? And the reason he asked that is the day before Congressman Collins said, this is all because you don't like the president. Simply enough, right? So he said, do you hate the president? That freaked her out.
Let me tell you, when she goes to the Catholicism thing, I'm thinking to myself, you bring up as a shield the Catholic Church and how devout a Catholic you are, but when it comes to abortion, I think that shield just kind of disappears. How come you don't bring up Catholic when you're talking about abortion, pro-life, pro-choice?
Because she's a hypocritical Catholic.
Because she's a hypocrite.
Well, that being said, you're 100%, but what about the rest of, her religion, the district that she actually represents? She's Speaker of the House, but she is a representative. I mean, there's needles on the streets. It's a disaster, homeless. I mean, how could she, just hear the word hate and go Catholic all of a sudden?
When she comes out and says that she was raised, she was raised by a bunch of crooks.
She was. Mafia.
Including her uncle and her father. And I'm going to say it right there on the camera.
Say it. It's time to say it. That's where we're at. That's where we're at in America.
And she was raised by crooks,
Write that
right?
down. That's where we're at.
Come on,
it's
that was mom and dad.
It.
Come on, you're trekking close to home.
Well, at least she's not 13 years old.
But they can't answer questions. They go nuts. They are full of hate. So let's flip over to the other one for you. Joe Biden yesterday. I mean, 83-year-old man, right? He's 83 years old. He's an Iowan. Is that what they are? Iowans?
Iowans, yes. Very good.
So he stands up and he says, hey, they're saying Trump and Ukraine and this and that, but didn't your son get a job and you don't know nothing about the gas business? And Biden freaked out on him.
That's his trigger. That guy triggered him big time.
Because he doesn't get questions like that. Everyone's been tiptoeing around it.
Softballs.
With any of the media, they've tiptoed around that with Joe. So I think getting it on his malarkey tour, where he's supposed to
I got the T-shirt coming. I have to have the Joe Biden Malarkey Tour 2019 T-shirt. Oh man, malarkey! Yeah. I think we should stop.
Malarkey.
No malarkey.
No malarkey.
Well, let me ask you this.
But didn't you love when the guys when Joe said, "Where did you hear that?" Expecting that he was going to say Fox News. That's what I thought anyway.
No.
And the guy comes out and he says, I heard it on MSNBC.
And what did Joe say? You did not
hear that on that
right, we got a deal.
We
got a deal.
We control what they say.
But the anger and the hate these people have. Now, you turn that around, and if that would have been Trump, hours of how he's dividing the country, hate, example he sets for everything.
Yeah.
Joe Biden turns and he looks at this guy. He's 83 years old. He says, "You're a damn liar." What the hell? Really? You better get your story straight. Your words better be correct, Jack.
Yeah, check your facts, Jack.
Check your facts, Jack.
You know what? He sounds like those hoods back in high school.
I was just going to say that.
And his mother says, Now, Joey, you go out and put your big boy pants on now, Joey. You don't let them get over you. Hey, Jack.
How about the body language, too? Joe's walking around away from him, and when the guy says it, he calls him a damn liar. He shoots right up to his face like, I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah.
I want someone, I wish, but of course he'd go straight to jail. When he says, would you like to go out behind the barn? I want someone to say, yes, I would. Let's go. I mean, and grab him by the neck and
drop the mic, Grandpa.
Take him up on it.
New Grandpa, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, well, so this past week, moving right, I mean, they're angry. They are so angry, and it's showing. It's showing, and the American people know it. Because I will say this, and I don't want to get stuck. The American people are not waiting for TV to tell them anymore what's going on. So when I do watch MSNBC this morning, they open up with nothing about Joe Biden, all right? And then they cheer Nancy for having the guts to stand up, all right? So anyhow, but we're not waiting for that. We're looking for ourselves now, and that's what messes them up because we're going and doing our own research. Let's go to...
Did anybody see highlights of the second press conference that she did? I'm telling you,
she got so angry at.
No, that was the.
Are you talking about last night, the CNN town hall?
No, she did two press conferences yesterday. One at 9 o'clock and one at 10:30.
I thought I saw the end of the 10:30.
The 10:30 one was her regular weekly press conference.
Don't tell me I hate anyone. I don't hate anyone.
And the other one was the one about the impeachment.
One.
Let me tell you, I watched her a little bit in that second one, and she was like, you couldn't tell.
Right.
She couldn't.
Her brain is scrambled up. She's
really.
looking,
I mean, her mouth is going in different directions than.
It's
crazy to watch her.
Nervous Nancy.
Well, I think she's just. I truly believe she's just really too old for that job.
You know, if I were Nancy, what I'd do, because she wants power so badly, I would get on that television and say, I'm calling this whole thing off. It is ruining our country, and all of you guys get
ruining the party.
And I will tell you, there would be so many people getting behind her.
I think impeachment has become the mother of all neutron bombs. It basically is just going to wipe out every Democrat standing.
I hope so.
And the Republicans
and they can't
will be,
see it.
There's a lot of Democrats in the wings that are really nervous.
They're just going to
about this whole
vaporize, when this thing, gets to the Senate and they either dismiss it, or they'd go ahead and do the show trial, and they get to bring their witnesses. And
that's what I hope happens.
Yeah.
Well, what about?
Well,
Well, what about is it 30 or 32? I don't know if it's 30 or 32 Democrat districts.
31.
31.
Yeah, right in the middle.
Democrat districts that Trump won, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if they go through, and this is a big what if, what if they go through the impeachment, articles of impeachment, and then send it to the floor for a vote, and those 31 vote against it? And then they get to go home in the red districts and say, we voted against that. And it's kind of like a barrier for them to get reelected. You know what I'm saying? What if they do that?
I don't think she's,
she's not going to happen. She's not going to be
She's got the votes. She's got the votes.
Even though she said yesterday, we are not going to pressure anybody to vote.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody will make up their own mind in this.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But I don't see 31 going against her unless they say do that so we can win back the House. Because I think, and I wasn't ready to go here, but I think every day as we inch closer to next year, 2020, the Republicans have a chance to take him back to the House.
Well, this morning I had a really low blow, if you guys read it, that the guy Mitch McConnell, that guy runs cold arsenic through my blood. I just can't stand that man.
Turtle?
And
come on.
He's
getting those judges through.
But he stands up there and says, that's true. He says, Well, now, I don't know if we're going to ask all these witnesses, you know, that those people the Republicans who want to just take this thing, get all these witnesses coming in, I don't think they're going to do that. And we're not going to make this another circus.
He's doing peas under the walnuts.
I mean, you know, I think he is total deep state. I think he has things to hide. I don't know. I worry about him. And Graham, he's letting everybody down now too. What do you think? I don't think they're coming up and saying, let's go. I mean, look at Jim Jordan. Look at all those people.
I don't think he has the right to say, we're not going to bring any witnesses, because the President's Counsel
he said it.
Is the...
Right. Thank you for saying. I mean, I didn't know.
I just don't think that...
He didn't run that operation when he was over there then, right?
Well, I think the President's Counsel is the one that gets to choose whether what witnesses they're going to call.
I don't want to get so far down that road. Not that I don't want to discuss it. And don't take this wrong. I want to stick a little more to the House right now before we get to the Senate, because how many of you watched the Constitutional Scholars?
I watched
Poindexter's.
2/3 of it.
2/3 of it.
You mean the snarky bisexual Jewish woman?
Oh yeah.
Self-described.
What happens to us?
Snarky bisexual Jewish woman.
What happens to us now?
What did you say?
That's
how dare
It was
you?
very similar to what I said the other morning on the text. Just a little bit less racy.
Well,
So I get this text.
That's
the
what she
other
said,
morning.
right?
Yeah, she said
I
that
get
herself.
this, I understand, but I get this
They have her on
text.
tape saying it.
I got it. I get this text the other day, right before the show, or the night before the show, and he says, "Hey, can we refer to it?" And I was like, "I don't know. We'll do something." But okay, so mixing some of it, I felt the Republicans did a great job, and there's so many takeaways. My favorite line from Congressman Collins is when he closed. He said, "This all started over tears in Brooklyn."
That's
Tears
right.
in Brooklyn's my line, because that's the night of election night that they were all crying, and Hillary was off drunk somewhere, and they couldn't sober her up enough to come to the podium, and she had to send out what's-his-name to say, hey, every vote hasn't been counted. Remember that night? And they were all hugging
We're
each
shutting
other
down for the
and
night, go
crying
home.
and everything. And Collins says this all started over tears in Brooklyn, and there's so many lines. I thought he was amazing, and I want to be careful because I don't want to put my politicians, my elected officials too, but I think Collins has done an amazing job for the President of the United States.
I do too.
Totally.
Our district and this country.
Totally. Tells it like it is. I wasn't aware. I was gone all last week, and I don't know when it happened that the governor didn't appointed someone else for this.
Kelly Loeffler.
Kelly Loeffler.
Yeah, so,
I want to get into that. Yes, we do.
yeah,
Want to get
someone,
into
because
that.
I was really pretty shocked. I'm not into state politics. You guys know everything, but I
Well,
thought
that's
that was kind of a
more than
slam
state
dunk.
politics. I mean, that's
Yeah, that's the whole thing. And
Yeah.
just because Rick told me she donated a lot, blah, blah, blah. But
Yeah.
this is a crucial time in our history, and why he wouldn't want another senator over there
Well, here's,
voting.
you see, I have trouble sitting here feeling I know something, I won't put it that way, and not saying it, is the state of Georgia, and we'll leave it like this, the state of Georgia is more divided than people realize politically. The state of Georgia is very fractured politically. You have your Georgia Republican Assembly, not bad people, but they're over here. You have your country club Republicans around Atlanta, they're over here. You have us in rural North Georgia, we're over here. You have your party line. It's very fractured. And you have power. You have power struggles in the state. Now, former Governor Nathan Deal was from Gainesville, and if you follow state politics, a lot of people will say, well, we're tired of that Gainesville power nucleus over there, and we're going to break it. So Collins is from Gainesville, okay, and I don't want to go too far, but Doug Collins is from Gainesville, and they want to break the
Gainesville hold.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's some thought, but let's go back to Poindexter and the other. The hearing this week that Jerry Nadler held. Any takeaways? Anything you heard? I mean, I heard Jonathan Turley
I thought it was magnificent when they referred to his 1998 comments. Collins pulled that old clip, and him saying,
Nadler.
Yeah.
And we can find out the truth of who started this coup d'etat. Remember that?
Yeah,
He said that?
exactly.
Yeah, right. They're going to write articles of impeachment. What happens? What say you?
I think they're going to write the articles, they're going to vote, and they're going to impeach him. That's
Okay.
what I think.
in the same breath, though, they will admit that he's not going to get impeached.
Yeah, they say that.
Yeah. I mean, they are looking.
They don't know what to do.
He is going to be the candidate for the Republicans, and they're acknowledging all of that by saying that, you know, we want a black mark on there when we go against him in the next election. They know he's not going to get impeached.
Yeah, Joe will stand up there, whoever it is on the stage, and say, you know, you've been impeached, boy.
You know, the one thing, the takeaway that I'm hearing is unchecked. Unchecked. Trump unchecked, right? You hear that all the time. If we leave Trump unchecked, this is what happens. So if he gets a second term and he's unchecked, that'll be big. But I agree with you that he'll be impeached. But is it not just simply put, a scary time in this country that we would impeach? Because
that's what Tully said. Or
yeah, Turley did a great job of laying that out and
He
saying, my takeaway words
Guys.
or phrase from that whole thing was, it's your abuse of power.
Right, and that's
Pointing
exactly.
to all those committee members on the Democratic side.
Well, wait a minute. Now, on one hand, when we go through an election, we hear all of this talk of how important it is everybody votes, how important everybody's votes counted, right? No suppression, all this. It's very serious, and I don't know how to put it. Maybe you guys can do it. It's very serious that they don't realize or take it serious enough that they're trying to revoke 64 million votes in this country. Not one.
You talk about voter suppression.
60, exactly. They're trying to revoke. What an impeachment is it revokes.
It's a rebuke of
their vote.
Yeah, exactly.
But they would say, yeah, but we got 65 million in our back pocket, so go smoke a pipe.
That's what they're
Yeah,
saying.
but we got the Electoral College.
But
then you get into a whole nother.
Yeah, we won't have that if we don't.
Pocahontas has already said, you know, if I get elected, I'll be the last person elected through the Electoral College.
Electoral College is sitting on a fence, man.
That's what she said.
Good luck.
Yeah.
So, I mean, isn't it a scary time, though?
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Let me
What do
tell
you
you
think?
how scary it, to me, I mean, I hadn't stomped around the kitchen in a long time, but I'll tell you, when I was watching that, whatever he is, Nadler, and then
Whatever he is,
Collins
yeah.
or someone would say, I would like to ask a question of, bring up a parliamentary question, how is this going to be handled? He'd say, you cannot ask this. He says, yes, I can. I need the rules. Blah, blah, blah. He'd say, table, you know, and then he knew it was going to be 24-17 every dadgum time, but he wouldn't let our side ask even questions on how the parliamentary thing was going. So I'm thinking, even the bad guys can see this is just Nazism.
Well, you can expand that to
Period.
whatever you
And
want
yeah,
within
you
that
can.
hearing.
You can.
They get three.
and we got. They only
But
let
they
him.
wanted to lead America, with the exception of John Turley, they wanted to lead America to believe that they were bringing in 3 constitutional, nonpartisan
think we're
scholars
stupid.
that were going to give us a breakdown, a nonpartisan breakdown of the Constitution, what our founders were implying, what they were saying, what they meant when they wrote impeachment into the Constitution, and this is why what Trump did qualifies to meet an impeachable offense. But they didn't. They brought in 3 people that were very clearly political hacks.
And it was-
very
and it was
clearly
proven
left
over and over.
progressive.
Highly partisan.
Yes, they were not. Now, I would say this, not that I like where we're at, but if they really brought in 3 constitutional scholars that really went through it, and I was actually getting a class, I might have watched it in interest. But Turley is the only one that, for me, did the class. That, you know,
Yeah,
the takeaways were, you know, you got to be careful with what you're doing here. So anyhow, at the end there, they're going to move forward Monday. I think it is. Is it Monday? They're going
And
to.
as everybody knows, Turley voted for Hillary.
Right.
And he's a Democrat.
But he's a student
straight
of
arrow.
the Constitution.
Right.
And he's like Barr, I think.
He's the only one that really was qualified to fit the parameters that they designated for.
And he did it simply and beautifully.
No fact witness. And I will tell you this, Wednesday morning, before the hearing at 8:15, Congressman Collins was on the show this past week. And I asked him, I said, you said you want to bring Adam Schiff and to testify, and he's a fact witness. Explain that. No fact witness in judiciary. Not a one was a fact witness. I like what is it Getz out of Florida,
Matt
Congressman?
Gates,
Getz is his name?
Gates.
Matt Gates.
Or
Yeah.
Gates?
Gates,
Gates. I like what he said. Would somebody, by show of hand, are any of you fact witnesses? Nobody can raise their hand. Nobody can, right?
They didn't even do that.
And then, how did you describe that woman? Could you give that to us one more time? What was the description of the lady in the middle, the professor?
Oh, she called herself.
A snarky bisexual Jewish woman.
Yeah, the snarky bisexual Jewish woman
from Stanford.
Barron Trump. Although you can
Unbelievable.
name your son Barron, you can't make him a
That was
Barron.
so contrived and rehearsed.
She couldn't wait to work that
She
in.
couldn't wait
had
to
it
work
all
that
planned
in.
out.
She had it all planned out as right. Someone wrote it for her. She knew she was going to get a smattering of laughter, but it really...
Because they've gone down this whole king road.
It really egged on her
Trump
face, though.
Thinks of
Yeah, they
himself as a
worked that
king.
right.
Yeah.
But right after that, I'm sorry, Jane, what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say that her snarky
Bisexual.
apology, snarky bisexual
Jewish
Jewish
woman.
woman's apology was, I shouldn't have said that, but I sure wish Trump would apologize for this and apologize
Thank
for
you.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not an apology.
Brian did a nice piece on the show where he compared and contrasted the way that was put out there by CNN and by Fox. They took that little clip. They didn't go further to show the snarky part coming out.
So you're 100% right, because yesterday what I did is I clipped out CNN and MSNBC.
I think I just said that.
But I clipped them out. When I watch them, I clipped out because they put them little bylines, I call them, at the bottom. They wrote, she apologized, right? And if you're watching and you're busy and you're in the kitchen, not that woman needs to be in the kitchen, could be a guy getting coffee. If you happen to be in the kitchen,
She could have been on her
want to be
Peloton.
careful. Want to be
Yeah.
careful.
Yeah, she could have been on the Peloton.
You could have been on your Peloton.
kitchen.
In the kitchen.
Taking selfies.
Taking selfies. All right, we covered it all. But
We
if
got
you
the
were in
commercial
there
out of the way.
And you're just listening to the news in the morning, you would hear them talking about, she did it, but she apologized. They tried to roll out, and I said, whoa, 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 you hit a home run, because I said, whoa, here's what she said, here's what they put up, now let's listen to her apology. I apologize, but Trump, you apologize. It's your turn. It's like, there was no apology.
Morning Joe, I don't know, I guess it was on Hannity. But Morning Joe said, well, apologize. I think Trump should apologize for saying horrible things about my wife's facelift and how she didn't come out well. We're talking about the freaking country here, man. And you're talking about apologize for what he said about your wife's
Is that
facelift.
why she can't blink?
No, I don't know.
Just say it. Just say it. She
Yes,
stares.
it's like this.
No, easy. Okay, so
Let me ask a question if I can.
go for it.
You had that. You referred to a piece that you had on the show. I mean, in my mind, Collins is the most visible guy, and you got him to call into the show.
Yes,
it was
Wednesday.
a short segment. Behind the scenes, does his office kind of set you up with questions? Do you design your own
Never.
questions?
Never.
So they never even try. Is
No.
that correct?
No. Let me say this.
I do the questions.
No. I am glad you said that. I will not do an interview with anybody that sends me questions. And this is why I did have a state representative one time that I wanted to interview, and they said, send me a list of questions. And I will tell you this. I replied, Doug Collins, Congressman Collins, Speaker of the House Ralston. I've sat down in his office in Atlanta.
We were there with you.
Yeah.
Well, you were there.
Yeah.
Did you see a list of questions that
Negative.
his office
No.
handed me?
No.
No. Never. Now, I will tell you this, in fairness to transparency. The congressman's staff has sent over and said, is there subjects? Not a question. He says, is there subjects? So I don't like throw a subject out that he hasn't even studied for or know. Do you want to share a subject with us? Okay. Question, never. And I tell anybody that says, hey, I need Governor Kemp, okay? When he was candidate Kemp and then governor-elect, we did it on a Friday, remember, right after the election. He was on our show with us. They've never said to me, do you have the question?
I didn't think
I didn't
think you were going to anyway, but I'm so delighted that you didn't say anything about Kelly Loeffler. Are you disappointed that you weren't Senator? That was not the time or place for it.
I felt it was disrespectful.
I did too, and I'm glad you didn't say anything.
I did get one text or a message somehow, why didn't you ask? Because we all knew he was making the announcement at 10 o'clock. What do I want to do? I want to embarrass the congressman?
That's exactly right.
Really?
Of course he was
That's
disappointed.
Right.
Of course.
So, and he sent out a statement immediately afterwards, and we put that out. Immediately afterwards, he sent out a statement, and they sent it to us immediately. But I didn't feel Wednesday like, Chris Wallace asked him, okay, on Fox News Sunday, hey, what about the appointment of Kelly Loeffler possibly by the governor? And I just didn't feel, we had 8 minutes. I will say this, his office, I'm not sharing anything out of turn. His office said, look, Congressman has a lot, because it was the Wednesday.
Well, you smoked through it that morning.
Yeah, well, I will say this. I say this in respect because I know the congressman very well. So they sent me a message that said, look, he's got a lot to study for today. Understandable. It's going to be 8 minutes, and that's all we have. So I sent back, and I said nicely, okay, well, tell the congressman I'm going to ask quick questions, and he needs quick answers. Because I know, he can get
Don't start rocking back on your feet.
Exactly. But
is it your opinion he will throw his hat in the ring and run too?
No, I don't think he will.
Okay.
You want to go there?
No.
Let's go there.
No,
let's go.
I just want...
Damn it, I want to go there.
Question.
Don't make me go Joe Biden on your ass.
Quick question, quick answer.
Jack, get your facts straight. Now, you sit still over there and let me answer that damn
give
question.
me 10 push-ups.
I want push-ups.
That's right.
Okay, let's go. No, let's go there for a minute. Okay, so it is important. This is a lot that happened this week. Johnny Isakson gave his farewell, very good farewell speech, Tuesday at 2:30 on the floor of the Senate, said goodbye to the Senate, and he's retiring. After that, on Wednesday morning at 10 a.m., Governor Brian Kemp appointed Kelly Loeffler to be our next senator. Now, and introduced her as the Iowa farm girl. Sorry, I know that was Illinois farm girl, not Iowa. Illinois.
Come on, we're
farm
sticking
girl.
up for a little more.
That's right. So, now, her husband is the CEO of the New York Stock Exchange. Jeff Speecher,
he actually owns it.
Yeah,
and the CEO.
He's the big guy.
Yeah, he bought all the exchanges.
Right. Well, she's got a basketball team.
Yeah,
and she has a cryptocurrency company.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes. There's a lot here. Yeah. There's a whole lot here. Okay?
Bitcoin
globalist.
Yeah, they're big time globalists. I'm sorry. So, anyhow, there was a lot of hope by a lot of people that he would pick Congressman Doug Collins. Now that it's done and over with, I have said this publicly, you've heard this, going in the Wayback Machine when Johnny said he was going to retire. I've not always wanted Congressman Collins to jump to the Senate. I mean, we have, while I'm going, if you don't mind, we have had to put up with a Boehner from Ohio, a Ryan from Wisconsin, and I think it's high time that Georgia have a Speaker of the House. I think Doug Collins could be Speaker of the House.
He could be, but he's going to have to be voted. And there's two guys. Cindy said, my wife said to me, well, he's not in the succession chain. I said it has nothing to do with that. In the past, it looks like it has. But there's two guys ahead of him that would be Speaker, I would believe.
Trump is...
What's his name?
Kevin McCarthy?
No, you're looking
Kevin
at
McCarthy.
And Scalia.
I don't like him.
Scalise.
Scalise, not Scalise. Scalise, right. Scalise.
Yeah.
Louisiana.
Okay. All right, but let's say this now. We don't know.
I'm with you, though.
And Trump's not always he doesn't always go with the next in line. Trump's been known to just I'm going to do this. Say, with Collins. But when he appointed her, okay, she came out yesterday, there's an article, that she's already put together a $20 million campaign fund of her own. She's putting up $20 million of her own money to keep people from running against her.
You know where she got that? She got that in the couch.
See,
She dug down there
so
and found
see,
3
this is
million.
not,
They've
this
got
is
so
not
much.
the way the country is meant to be.
Prediction: Collins will not run. That's what I could be wrong. There's a possibility out there, folks. It's slim, but it's possible.
Are there other Georgia politicians that may run?
I don't know.
You talking about Republicans?
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to. I think she will get some opposition because let's remember, let's just use 500 as a number. There was 500 applications. Okay?
Yeah.
So Collins and Loeffler are 2. What about the other 498 people that applied for this position?
You know that for a fact? There's 500 applicants?
Yeah, because it was online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why didn't we send one?
He did.
No, I didn't. But what I'm saying, what about the other 498? And the thing that's being questioned, and the governor's gotten a little upset about it, the thing that's been questioned, I've questioned a lot, is he put a 5 o'clock window in. He said, Monday at 5 o'clock, if you don't have your application in, we close the window, and then we're going to make a decision. When did she put her application in? 3 o'clock that day.
We talked about that yesterday. You and I did on the telephone.
3 o'clock that day, she put her application in.
And so tell me,
The takeaway from that, though,
tell me what to take away. I mean,
is
I
that there was only a couple. There was a short period of time by the time the cutoff and the announcement.
So she
but-
waited and waited and
But
waited.
it was interesting the amount of preparation that she had done when she when the announcement was made and she rolled out the speech. She came out with a whole new set of
Her
graphics.
are ready. Her campaign team is
Well,
ready.
this has probably been talked about for weeks and months.
Well,
before.
that's the point. You
Yeah.
wondered if it was a cut deal behind
yeah.
the scene, and just put it in there and we'll
I
get
just
you
have
going.
to say, now listen, I want to say,
Not that there's
All
anything
right.
wrong with that.
Yeah.
there are political consulting businesses in Georgia and all over the United States. So let me say this. I'm not trying to hog the mic, but there's 2 or 3, okay? When you say, well, I don't really know some of the things that happen in the state, if you want to know, there's 2 or 3 major power struggles in Georgia when it comes to political consulting. There's 2 or 3 companies, okay? All right. Now, the company that handled, and I know the guys, okay, they handled Brian Kemp's campaign, happen to be the same people that are handling Kelly's campaign.
Starts with a P, doesn't it? The name of the
Parlay.
company? Parlay. There you
You
go.
look them up, Parlay LLC. You can look them up, who they are. But
Like the
Getting
French
a little
parlay?
cozy here.
Like
well,
the French parlay?
So Parlay LLC
Parlay-
ran.
on
Not Parlez-vous. P-A-R-L-A-Y.
They ran Brian Kemp's
not easy.
campaign, and they stand to make millions of dollars. I don't know if them, but they stand to make a lot of money running hers. So the same group that handled his campaign is handling hers. So he announced her at 10 o'clock. It ended like 10:40, and at 10:45, I got an email from Parlay LLC, Team Kelly, ready to go.
Yep.
So
Yeah, it
All
was-
set
it
and
was
all
all
cut and
done.
dried.
right, so ready to go.
Who
Ink
could
was
oppose her on the Dem side?
I don't know yet.
Sally Yates.
No, article came out yesterday where she said she wouldn't. I don't know if I'm wrong. I didn't get deep into it.
So it's
I read the same article, and, she was just, there was some pushback there.
Okay.
I don't know that I'm
the
ready
field's
for
open.
it.
The field's open.
Yeah, I don't know, but
She would be the logical woman against woman, high profile. Used to be, in the Attorney General's office, correct?
yes.
Is that going to be some of like the opposition going to say, here's a woman with no political experience, blah, blah, blah?
Here's one more thing in that, okay? And I don't want to kill any of the subjects if you want, but one more thing in that. With this, the appointment has to run in 2020, and it's called a jungle primary. So they will not run in a regular Democrat Republican. Like Perdue is the nominee on the Republican, the Democrats, and Perdue will run against somebody. But in this seat, what you do is you do the same thing they do in Louisiana, same thing they do everywhere else. They'll be. You remember Karen Handel ran against 8 Republicans and 6 Democrats?
Mm-hmm.
That's what will happen in this one. That's what this race is. So
And they take the top 2 or something like that?
No, Yeah, 5
Unless one gets
Republicans.
more than 50%.
50%
Right.
plus one vote.
Right.
Georgia is a 50% plus one vote. So if you get in this one here, you could have 4 Democrats and you can have 5 Republicans and dilute it. And I will say this, I want to move on, but that's how we ended up with Doug Jones, the Democrat in Alabama, was the same way. Remember that?
Yeah.
So, but anyhow, Kelly Loeffler is going to be your new Senate. And I will make a prediction here. A lot of people, I did a lot of segments on this. A lot of people were very upset over it based on the process. I was more upset about the process. And she's a multi-millionaire, which I don't care. Country Club Republican and all the above. And they have 2 Gulfstreams. Kemp picking a woman, this didn't meet any of the diversity that he says he's trying to do to get women back in the Republican Party.
She did say all the right things, though, when she was
She had her
introduced.
5 points. She did
Well, she
all
has
the
a good
right
PR
things.
firm.
Yeah.
And she's got the right. I know who wrote it for her. I
Yeah.
was listening. I can hear the guy. I'm not going to mention his names. I can hear him.
Well,
And
excuse me for interrupting. It dovetailed with what Kemp said.
Yeah.
Kemp said, I wouldn't appoint anybody that doesn't do this, and this. She came out. She said the exact same thing that he said he was looking for.
She came out and said, I'm pro-life.
Yeah.
She came out and said, I'm pro-Second Amendment. She came out and said, this impeachment's a sham. She came out and said, I support the President of the United States. She came out and said, I'm pro-life. Is that twice?
Yep.
No, she said, I'm a Christian.
I'm a Christian. And then she said, like, if all else fails, what do you say? Build the wall. So she came out with those 5 or 6 points. From here to Election Day, I know the guy's running her campaign. From here to Election Day, she will never move from those. If she sits down with me and I ask her a question, this and this, she'll go back to one of those points, and that'll be the answer.
Or maybe
from
all
here to
5 or
election.
6 of them.
And I'm a conservative. Moving right along, a lot of people got upset because I don't know if you heard the story that Trump endorsed Collins. Okay, Trump actually, the understanding is he made a couple phone calls to Governor Kemp and said, I think you should pick Doug Collins. Okay. Second, Sunday before last, in a private trip that got leaked out, Kemp put Kelly on the plane, our understanding, because it's now news, and took her to D.C. to introduce her to Trump and say that was his choice. Paraphrasing, Trump basically said, why did you bring her here then, if that's your choice? You know, why did you even bring her, you know? And my words, if you read all the articles, basically threw him out. Okay?
You're wasting my time.
Yeah, this is a waste of my time. You already picked it, and he came back home. I told you who I picked. But for all of those Trump supporters that feel that Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, went against the president, here's what's going to happen, my prediction. She's going to get sworn in. She's going to go up there. Mitch McConnell's going to drive her over to the Oval Office. They're going to sit in the Oval Office. She's going to pledge her undying support for the President of the United States, and he's going to tweet out, I met today with Georgia's new Senator, Kelly Loeffler. She has pledged her support for the president.
She's on my
Make
team.
America great again. She's on my team, and all will be forgotten.
Yep.
End of story.
Yep.
It has to be.
I'm sorry. How
How do you think?
subject?
How do you
No,
think?
no, no. I'm.
How do you think David Ralston feels
I
about
feel
it?
like I'm one of those political scholars that's getting to explain something.
Huh?
I don't know. What?
How do you think David Ralston feels about the way
Yeah,
I
this
that's a
can't
good
comment
question.
on that.
Oh, why not?
Jeez.
Because
As
David
you
told him not
know,
to.
'cause you-
All right, here. Okay. All right. No. If you ask the question, I'm going to answer. How does the Speaker of the House? I'm really not sure 100%. Okay, I would
That's
have
fine.
I would have my opinion, and that wouldn't be right. But if you looked, and let me explain this to the camera also. If you looked at the announcement, did you watch the announcement of her? If you looked at the announcement,
I saw a picture.
Okay, the Speaker was on one side, okay, and the Lieutenant Governor was on the other. All right. You didn't see a whole lot. You didn't see David Perdue down there. You didn't see some other people down there, but you did see, the Lieutenant Governor,
The state people.
Jeff Duncan, and he presides over the Senate, the state Senate, and you've seen the Speaker of the House. All I'm going to say is I don't know how they feel, but if they would not have been in that picture, they would be held to pay in January when session went in. So I wouldn't read the picture of 100% support. I'm getting in the weeds. So I mean, I wouldn't read the picture of 100% support if I was looking at it.
Yeah.
It's just it's their job. They had to do it.
Yeah.
You have any questions? What say you? What do you want to talk about? Let's talk about. Hey, Tom,
My question,
go for it.
I had a small question before you said, when we talked about Doug Collins and the potential of him becoming Speaker of the House. Granted, they got to take the House back first before they figure out if they got a Speaker candidate.
Yeah.
And you said, but the president always doesn't go in pecking order. I was always under the assumption that he doesn't have any say-so in it.
He doesn't. They have to vote on
They
it.
have a vote.
Well, he has his favorite, but yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
they have a
it's
vote
the
within
members
the
vote.
House. Isn't that correct?
The members vote.
Right,
Yeah.
but you submit yourself as a candidate.
Of course.
Yeah, like Jim Jordan. I
So
was hoping.
if you submit yourself as a candidate,
Right, then they vote on it. But the
Right.
president doesn't have any
President.
say-so as to who gets appointed.
the president had no say-so over our senator. That's under our Constitution. The Georgia State Constitution gives the governor all the rights and powers to appoint the senator.
Right.
Right?
I'm not arguing the point.
But
I'm
he
just
doesn't have
saying,
the
He's talking about the role of
I said,
Speaker
what
of the
is
House.
the process? And I was trying to
Yeah,
clarify
but
that.
you were going with next in line. And what I'm saying is you're thinking that, okay, President Trump's going to come out and say, oh, Kevin McCarthy will make a great speaker, or in Louisiana.
Steve Scalise.
Yeah. All I was saying is just like Georgia and saying Collins would make a good senator, it's not his, it wouldn't be beyond him to step down a little bit
Yeah,
and pick somebody else.
I got
You
it.
understand
Yep,
what I'm saying?
yep.
But let me ask y'all, what's your opinion of Jim Jordan? I mean, I think he's brilliant. I think he's a little.
Good wrestler.
He is less country clubby. You know what I mean?
No, he's definitely not country clubby.
No, I think he's brilliant. I think he's out there with fire, and I mean, he just seems to be doing his little job over there. But I don't know why he's not considered, and he isn't in the top 3 for that. Why is that? Do you think?
Don't know. But yeah, I don't disagree with what
I mean, he is
how you've
almost
described
as
him.
good as Trey Gowdy when he gets going on.
I agree with that. We can go into that, or I would like to know from you, because we're running out of time, and I've been waiting to hear from you about the Horowitz report. What do you think is going to happen next?
Oh, God. Well, you hear it's going to come out and justify everything those creeps did. I don't have a clue.
I think it's going to be a whole lot of nothing.
It's going to be another
That's what Rush says.
kaboom. Just kaboom.
He's going to lay out like things were,
Horowitz is an Obama
misdemeanors.
Yeah.
Yes. And why is
happened.
he still in that
It's going to
position?
be kind of a Mueller thing.
He's got no subpoena powers. Nothing he can do.
Is Barr and Durham still on track, do you think?
Not according to WAPO.
What is
Washington
that?
Post came out and said that the Durham report's going to be all about nothing too.
Oh,
Now,
no.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know what they're basing it on.
Wasn't Barr conflicting with Horowitz?
Yes,
That
he
was
didn't
the
like the
big
conclusion. He
conflict.
didn't agree
Right.
with the conclusion.
Now
Barr is the only one that's seen it, correct?
Yeah.
Now, is it $900 million? Have we seen the translation, the Ukrainian press conference with the Ukrainian lawmaker that did a press conference that said that he had the facts that Biden received $900 million, right?
That's what he said.
Some number,
Right?
yeah.
And you remember this guy? I don't remember his name, but he's a lawmaker in Ukraine.
Which Biden, son?
No.
No.
The lawmaker
Joe.
in Ukraine.
Joe.
Yeah,
Joe
Joe.
received it.
But you know the press conference, right? Mm-hmm. Where's Rudy Giuliani?
Is in Ukraine.
With him.
Yep.
Right. Rudy don't care. He's with the guy that said it. He's over there. So,
Yep.
just saying.
Just saying is right.
Tom Graves said yesterday he will not seek the 14th district again. He's retiring. Congressman Tom Graves.
Who's that?
Huh?
Where's 14th?
14's Murray, Walker County,
Okay.
Dalton, that way.
I got
Okay.
So he's not seeking re-election. Little speculation that
Maybe he's going to get appointed to something else?
maybe, or a little speculation that he was going to run for Senate is the reason he says he's not. But I talked to somebody last night that said that's not happening. So Tom Graves is not running. We've got a lot going on next week.
Is there going to be a big brouhaha for voting machines in Georgia?
Okay, I recommend, okay, everybody, and that same morning, were you able to hear the interview with Lee after
Part of it.
Collins? Okay. Lee said, quit calling them voting machines.
They're voting computers.
They're voting computers. America needs to stop calling them voting machines. They're voting computers. They're programmed. And even in that interview that I have online, she said that company, she named the company that has these voting machines and said that company has 75% of the voting
Of the business,
machines
yes.
in America.
Voting
And they-
computers. You just tell us to call them
And they
computers.
say that Soros
Yeah,
does
see,
most of
I'm
it.
working. Yes.
And Soros owns those. What can you do to a computer if you know how? Anything you want.
Well, first of all, the scary thing is, you know, I always go, I know we're in Georgia and I know we refer to PA because PA, I do have some insider information, and two, it's very critical on Trump's reelection, and here in Florida we'd like to see that the president gets reelected. There's a New York Times article, there's a lot of articles. Google voting machine disaster in Northampton County, Pennsylvania. You will find a New York Times article that my sister is in. You'll find a bunch of articles my sister is in. They had a disaster there with their new voting machines.
What kind of a disaster?
Like one judge got 0 votes.
0 votes.
None.
And
one candidate had
expected to win.
30,000 more votes than...
It's something wrong. I voted for
And so
myself.
did it stand? This judge got
They did
0
well, wait a
votes
minute. They
and
did a
it stood?
recount. Because, see, they have the same system basically we're getting. And they did a recount with the paper ballots. And they scanned the paper ballots. And the computer in the paper ballots are not the same. So which one was correct? Nobody could say.
Maybe
And-
neither one of them.
And they
is
were
the-
all
right.
bought to put in place in Philadelphia. At Philadelphia, the city council of Philadelphia, this company that sold them the voting machines donated $475,000 to the city council members in Philadelphia's campaign contributions. So there's a lot.
Which is
going
mostly a
on.
Democrat city.
Right. So
I just thought of a foolproof way to vote.
how?
You have your ID, which you have to have mostly anyway. You have a little video camera over there. You have 6 little video cameras. It wouldn't take any more time or cost any more money.
Invasion
I
of
go
privacy.
I go up to the video camera. I say, I vote Trump, da-da-da-da-da. It's on video. There's nothing that can be swooped around. I said it. Here I am. My twig didn't get twacked on the, the ballot.
Yeah, but in the camera, we'll never be able to see the gun over here that's pointed at you. Say it, ladies.
That's right.
I'm telling that seems absurd, but I don't think it's a bad idea.
Well, let me apologize to everyone out there and all of you this morning. I feel I've kind of dominated some subject matter, and I know you asked some questions. So I apologize that I've taken so much of the time.
I was sleepy
We do
anyway,
have
I
our
don't
pet of the week coming up. Did you have a subject? Because
Jessie not here this week?
No, she's
Jessie
in New
Barton?
York City.
Ah.
She's enjoying a Christmas
That's nice.
holiday in New York City.
Nice.
So good for her and her husband. Did you have a subject before you said this morning when you were coming in you want to make sure we touch on?
We got it all.
Got it all. Write that down. Got it all.
I'm with him.
I'm with him. We
I'm
got
with
it
that guy
all.
over there. What about you, Rick?
No, we did. We touched on a lot of good subjects.
I just want to amplify one thing. When Nancy strode to the podium.
Strode.
I like
strode.
that.
She went back, man.
Yeah. Her opening line was, facts are uncontested.
Yeah.
Facts are
Lordy.
uncontested. And gee, you stop and think about that. Why are they uncontested? Because the Republicans couldn't bring any people of their own into these
And you
hearings.
can't say anything.
So, it's so false on its face
You
that
just
she would boldly walk out and say that. I mean, it's just...
It is
Angers-
incontrovertible. No, it's not.
To think about with my ethical, and yours too, I mean, to walk out and spend your life every day ball-faced lying, just
That's
lie,
what gets me. I'm with you.
is
I watched them and say,
inconceivable.
how do you do that?
Just ball-faced
But then she
lies.
throws the little tizzy about, don't you mess with me with that word.
Yeah.
Later
And
in the day.
we
My
all-
Catholic family, the way
Yes.
I grew up.
I grew
Oh
up.
my, the way
God.
she
I pray for
grew
the
up
president
is-
every day.
I pray
I
for
still,
him.
yeah.
And,
Yeah, we
and
covered
all
that a
of us-
little bit ago.
Yeah.
I think
But
she
you know
prays
who
he
they-
trips
Yeah,
or
I was
something.
raised
here's-
by
I think
crooks.
she does pray for him.
I'm going to throw out a real bomb here.
Go for it. That's
Here
what
we go.
do. That's what we do.
You know-
Brace
Holding
yourself.
on.
But
The captain is
Bunker.
fasten the seatbelt.
they may
Bunker.
not be praying to the the person or the being that we think they're implying they're praying to.
Ooh. Would that be Shiva, the destroyer?
It could be, it could be down the bottom of the Red Sea.
You threw it out there, and it landed.
And kaboom!
There you go. Bruce, air balls, jump shots.
I knew you were going to ask, and I'm prepared.
Gonna get my cheater out.
my home run, I'll go with this because we talked about that. Fat Jack in Iowa. Made Joe nervous and rude, and they got into the whole push-up thing. Honest to God, that was my home run. Airball over the Thanksgiving holiday. Tesla drivers coming back home after the long holiday had to line up at like one of the few superchargers, and the line waiting to get to the supercharger because they get there 20 minutes to supercharge up again. Half a mile.
Oh my! How many hours is that?
It took over 40 minutes.
Times the length of the car times
Yeah,
divided into
somebody
half a mile.
figure that
Is that
out.
the formula? 20 minutes, right? But the length of the car, average length, divided into a half a mile, times 20.
It took 40 minutes to go a quarter mile.
Times 20 minutes divided by 60.
Yeah.
All right,
I thought you were
there
gonna-
go.
I
Is
thought
that the
you were gonna-
formula? Did I get that? Rick.
I thought you were going to talk about the new pickup truck that was introduced when he said it had the glass, it was unbreakable.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy comes out and he throws that thing,
twice,
shatters it.
Twice.
Bulletproof, yeah.
It worked on the first time.
What say you there, Rick?
Okay, my losers, we've thrown them under the bus so many times. Pamela Carlin, Noah Feldman, and those two are my losers. The other guy was a nothing. You
Gearhart.
really need to look, folks, at Noah Feldman and what he stands for. He is a big-time supporter of Sharia law.
He thinks it's the best way to go.
He researches, he does a lot of work in religion, especially Jewish and Muslim. Anyway, look at him. My winner of the week is going to be Barron Trump. Barron Trump, a 13-year-old young man, speaks fluent 5 languages and is a master chess player. And it takes an awful lot to become a master, recognized as a master chess player. 13 years old, this guy, and they're throwing him under the bus as juvenile fodder.
I say this, the sacrifice, and even with the Obamas, okay? Children are children.
Exactly.
all right?
Leave them
The
alone.
Sacrifice, Amy Carter, you look at it down the line, you look at the sacrifice.
The Ford daughters.
Of these kids, of having to live, the real sacrifice that is made to be president of the United States, regardless of party, when you have children, and they have to live in this closed circle. I mean, so I thought
never ends.
You did hear the
It never
Obamas
ends.
just bought a 29-acre estate on
Martha's Vineyard.
Martha's Vineyard for 11.3.
I got it.
75 million.
Cash.
Kids are the kids. What say you?
Well, I want y'all
Ukrainian
to tell me
cash.
if I really heard this. I heard it, then I played it back, and then I heard it. Did Bloomberg really say we're going to tax the middle and lower class more, and it will make them healthier and happier because they will not have enough money to spend on things that are just not good for them.
Sugary
Therefore,
drinks.
we're going to make them healthier by taxing them. Did he say that
Yes, he
out
did.
loud?
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
He had the most lame gun control press conference yesterday in Colorado. It was so monotone and so boring, and all he did was say the same things that everybody else is saying. He had no new ideas. Plug the loopholes, do this, do that. Just enforce the laws that we have on the books, and you'll have gun control up the wazoo.
Yeah. Well,
And the Wazoo's a wide river.
And the wazoo is a wide river. Runs all the way from this mouth to that mouth.
We're good. That's it.
All right, here we go.
All right,
Okay.
folks. Well, ready. Listen, I'm going to tell you, in an impeachable offense, high crimes, misdemeanor, bribery, all the lists that they put together. Now, I generally don't do this, but, I have to say, you defer to, all right? Humble yourself sometime and defer to somebody that can put it out there, deliver it, lay it out to be understood. And I will tell you, if you get a chance, okay, because I was driving through the mountains last night at 6 o'clock, and I turned on the radio at 6:05, and from an undisclosed bunker, they found the guy, Mark Levin, you know, the opening. If you get an opportunity, Google 12/5/2019 Mark Levin opening monologue and listen to the list of historical things that presidents from Roosevelt, presidents from throwing journalists in jail, Woodrow Wilson, from putting impeachable offense, putting Japanese in camps, the list on and on that this guy gave last night. And I said to myself, I was listening, and I said, I cannot deliver that. I cannot. I have to just say, I said, you know what, I'm going to go try to rewrite that, give the guy credit, and see if I can't do it. It was great. It was amazing. That's why we call him the Great One. Mark Levin, 12/5/2019 opening monologue. But he ended up, he went through presidents. He started at Andrew Jackson. He went through presidents, and he gave all of these things that you don't think happened or know happened because you don't follow the history myself. And then he got up to Barack Obama. And do you remember when Barack Hussein Obama unleashed the IRS on his political opponents, the Tea Party groups?
Yep.
Remember that?
Lois Lerner.
Yeah, conservative, faith-based organization.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Just think of that one right there.
And she's scared.
All right?
Scared.
Trump has done nothing. Congressman Collins, let me say thank you to you. Amazing job this week. All the Republican congressmen, don't want to leave you out. You did an amazing job this week. And Governor Brian Kemp, although I'm not on board with your pick, you made the pick. It's done. It's over with. And the only thing we could do is follow our new Senator Kelly Loefflin and see what she does as a new senator for Georgia. Tom Graves, wish you well. So much going on. Impeachment. They're going to impeach him in the second term. They're not going to stop impeaching the guy.
Yeah, they'll look for something.
Nothing. All right, so I'm for sure Donald Trump can maybe fall off a skateboard today or be embarrassed around the world. We didn't get to this. Justin Trudeau and this thing of laughing at the president, let me just say something. Macron, you got to say it like that, Macron.
Emmanuel.
All right, Emmanuel Macron. The guy up there in Trudeau, Angela Merkel. Nobody would ever watch your press conference. You need to understand that. If you come out and do a press conference, let's say Macron next to Trudeau, Trudeau next to, nobody tunes in. You put Trump next to you, and actually people realize who you are. So shut the hell up, Jack. I'm sorry.
Push-ups.
Push-ups, 30. Pet of the week right after this. Thank you very much. Christmas sweaters next week, guys.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah, yeah. They can do.
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Days Chevy in Jasper makes the holidays bright, and during the 2019 model year end clearance sale, the savings are huge, like over $11,000 off 2019 Silverado crew cabs, or more than $6,500 off 2019 Chevy Colorados. 'Tis the season of giving, and we're giving you thousands off every Chevy during the 2019 model year end clearance at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevys always cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Do you feel like healthcare has become too impersonal?
3 times an hour, I'll get you in, I'll get you out.
At Lifetime Medical Center, you're more than a number. We get to know you, not just your medical issues. Dr. Alana Kent is board certified in family practice and offers same-day appointments. She and her staff treat conditions from minor to chronic issues. Lifetime Medical Center, convenient to Jasper and Blue Ridge.
This may sting a little.
Live, it's Rena. She says she's taking over. Is that what you said?
I said, listen to me.
Oh, okay. We're back. It's time for the pet of the week, the star of the show, the one and only
Nico.
Nico from the Humane Society of Blue Ridge. Give me. Oh, you animal. Could I finish, please?
All right. So with this introduction, I
Nico,
want to
see, Nico knows that I've been playing some games here with his treats. So.
Well, Nico is very affectionate. He's very, very affectionate. And he is one of our longest residents at the Humane Society of Blue Ridge. We really need to find Nico a home. He's actually, he's going to be, Chester's does a drink of the month for us every month. Nico's the drink of the month. It's got coffee in it, so if you like coffee, go see Chester's. But Nico, this week, Penny, I don't know if you remember Penny, you may have been gone. Penny had the neurological issue. She had been hit by a car, a little puppy. She got adopted. I took her to her home yesterday. Juno, remember Jinx and Juno?
Yes, I do.
Juno got a home.
Juno got a
one
home.
of the big black.
It must have been a
big
beautiful
black dogs that we
puppy.
had. Now Jinx is still with us, but he is being fostered right this minute. Sasha had she was here last time. She had a meet and greet, or is supposed to have a meet and greet soon. We're down to the ones, the dogs that I know are Nico and Sasha and Jinx. I mean, everyone's been adopted.
All right.
Which is good news, but we really need, are you listening to me?
No.
We really need to get Nico a home. Now, Nico is a very affectionate dog. He will sit on the couch with you. I'm not allowed to let him on the couch here. He will get on the couch with you. Most likely he will get on the bed. He will entertain himself with toys. A fenced-in yard is great for Nico because he is a strong dog. But if you take Nico home, he is I want to say other dogs are a no. He wants to be the only dog, and he will attach himself to his human. So he may need to be a one-person dog, but that could be worked out too. But if you give Nico time, put him in a routine, he is going to be the best companion you have ever known. He is such a great dog. He loves to go for rides. He loves to walk. And I had him out here, and I only see him, once in a blue moon. I mean, it's not like I'm there every day. And when he starts to pull, I say, no, come back. And he comes back. He's a good dog. He just needs, his worst trait is he loves to jump up and give you kisses. And that's not a bad trait at all.
Well, he's very powerful. He is, but as you can see, he's a beautiful guy here and just loving. I tell you what, just loving as to be, gentle but powerful. I mean, you gotta know your dog.
Yes,
A dog is a powerful dog. Now lay down. Let me scratch your belly.
Lay down. Roll over.
Roll over.
Come on over. There you go.
Roll over.
Like that. Oh, let me get your belly. Go this way. There we go. Okay. There's your belly.
Belly scratch,
Yes,
belly
there's your belly.
scratch.
Yes. So he loves his belly scratched. He just loves his person. And he's just been overlooked at the shelter, and he really needs a good home. He needs to be with someone. If you travel, he's not going to be a problem because he loves riding shotgun. He loves being in the vehicle with you.
You can't steal all the treats.
He just loves to be with his person. So please, come on out and see Nico.
If you will chill.
At the Humane Society of Blue Ridge, 171 Mineral
Chill.
Springs Road, which is in Blue Ridge.
Say please.
Just off of Asca.
Give me a wolf.
Go to our website, humanesocietyofblueridge.org. You can see any of the dogs that are adoptable. We do have dogs there, and they do have pre-adoptions on them. They just brought in 4 puppies yesterday. And call us at 706-632-4357 and follow us on Facebook. You'll see the new puppies were just posted on there with more information to come. A lot of the new dogs that have come in. Nico's on there. Jinx is on there. Sasha's on there. So come on out and see if you can give a great dog, especially Nico, a home this Christmas.
I take just a little responsibility for getting him a little work done.
No, that's okay.
All right.
He's a great dog.
He is.
Really is.
Oh my gosh.
He is such a
Hey
lover.
folks, the Humane Society of Blue Ridge. And don't forget humanesocietyofblueridge.org. Like Rena said, their Facebook page. Come out. And we always want to also take this time if you have some extra time and you would like to volunteer with these great animals, they need help in so many different areas over there at the Humane Society of Blue Ridge, so check it out. Also, give a big shout out to all the volunteers that put their time into the Humane Society of Blue Ridge and everybody out there. So let's find this guy's forever home.
Turn around,
I
show your
did
face.
get him a little worked up, but
There you
he
go.
is a great dog. And like Rena has explained. I don't know what you said. I'm for sure you
Yeah,
explained.
I'm not even sure. I
Did you
think
tell him
he's about
everything?
3 years old. I don't think I said that. We think he's a Basset mix because he has the little Basset legs. He's not tall. He's approximately 50 pounds, but he is very, very strong, very muscular. So, like I said, a fenced-in yard would be good, although if you just give him some time and a little patience, he gets into a routine. Walking is not going to be a problem.
Okay. That's the end of our show. But don't forget, we will be back
There you go.
Monday.
Good boy.
We will be back Monday in the office at 8 a.m. All right, he's good. And
he's
look
up.
at all of these things, the PS4, gaming computers, you name it. Circuit World here at Blue Ridge has it for you. And I know we got a lot of big college football. Don't we have a big game or something this week?
Georgia starts on the BCS championships this week.
What time is that? Do you know Saturday? Anyhow, big college football, 7 o'clock, JR said, over here. Come down, Circuit World, and come to North Georgia and visit us and enjoy Christmas holidays in North Georgia.
LSU.
Yeah, we know they're playing LSU. I was going to ask Bruce earlier. Everything good?
Everything's
We're good?
good?
We're
Yes,
good.
yes.
We'll see you Monday at 8 a.m.
You lied, RJ. It's 4, not 7.
4, not 7. 4, not 7. We'll be back Monday live 8 a.m. Good morning from the office. Take us out of here. Enjoy your weekend.